The graduating class of Tamchei Tamimim, 5781. Approaching Gimel Tammuz of this year, the boys and I have been able to put together a video, a documentary of Crown Heights, a documentary which demonstrates why the Rebbe chose to remain here in Crown Heights, a place which demonstrates to the world the level of Mashiach. Because Crown Heights in Hebrew is Keser Elyon. Keser Elyon is the source, our source, the source of Mashiach, the very essence of who we are. And the Rebbe, through his teachings, has been able to give to us a level that each one of us is able to hold on to, is able to grasp through his teachings. These teachings have been able to be generated through the community as we will listen to the teachings of men who have been inspiring us through years, teaching us, developing our levels of kashrus, even singing the songs of the Rebbe, the songs of Hasidus, the songs of the Jewish people. Let's listen as we will develop our nitzutz of Mashiach to be able to reveal it to the world. Crown Heights, our home, Keser Elyon, our source. The chosen home of the Rebbe Rayatz and the Rebbe, and the center of the community of Chabad for more than 80 years. Has it ever occurred to you to ask why? Why Crown Heights? And even when many Jewish groups fled the community, Lubavitch stayed. Why? The Rebbe chose to remain in Crown Heights and to use the community as his base from which to send shluchim throughout the world. A shliach, like the one who sent him, in place of him. And we, all of us, find ourselves in our place in the world, sent to our place by God, shluchim of the one above. Those of us who find ourselves in Crown Heights might feel a specialness, a special quality, because God sent us to the home of the one who has given us the innermost teachings of the Torah, Hasidus, the Panemius of Torah. As we live our lives, each of us in our Dalar Amos, our sphere of influence, we can and must accept the shlichus and do what we can to influence those around us to do more, learn more, give more, in a spirit of Mashiach, to reveal Mashiach. 770, the home of the Rebbe, the home of Chabad, for all these years. 770 could have been anywhere. It could have been any address. It's interesting to note that the gematria of 770 equals Beis Mashiach. Look at the letters. Beis, 2, Yud, 10, Sof, 400. That's 412. Mashiach, Mem, 40, Shin, 300, Yud, 10, Ches, 8. Together, 358. Together with Beis, 412, equals 770. A coincidence?
The Rebbe took on the leadership of Chabad in 5711, 1951, and immediately community began to speak about shlichus.
Let's use the next few minutes to investigate. What is a shliach? Who is a shliach? And what is expected of a shliach?
Rabbi Yazdaba has been a member of the Basin of Crown Heights for over 40 years. Is he a shliach?
Shalom Aleichem, Rabbi Yazdaba. Rabbi, we've come to ask you a few questions about Crown Heights, and the way that the Rebbe has conducted this community to send shluchim around the world. How many years have you been a Rav here in Crown Heights?
Officially, I've been a Rav from going back Memvov.
And what encouraged you 40 years ago to assume that position?
First of all, I wouldn't say I assumed the position. I was put into the position. Okay, let me explain. You give me some background how what was the approach when the Rebbe was build a Beis Din from 3 Rabbanim. That should be a Beis Din Kavua. In other words, it should be the community should vote for this Beis Din so it has a certain power. It's called the Beis Din Kavua in Hebrew, which means a confirmed Beis Din, united Beis Din, that they should have jurisdiction on the entire community. I believe, if I recall the details, that there was 11 Rabbanim to be on the ballot, yeah. And the people would have to choose which 3 Rabbanim of the 11 would be accepted. And it happened to be that I'm one of them, okay? I didn't go to look for the job. And I tell the truth, I don't know if I was really interested in the job. It's a quite responsibility. A Rav in Crown Heights is not only a Rav that deals with people coming and asking us questions, ashayla in halacha, okay? It deals with everything. In other words, I would say, if there's a dispute that dealing with litigants, which means there's a dentata between 2 litigants, one problem, one issue. There's kashrus involved to see that all the food that's coming into the community shall be under supervision and should be kosher according to the highest level of kashrus. They are also must deal sometimes with political issues with the community, officially what they have to do and what they are not permitted to do. And so on and so forth, everything comes up, disputes, question of shalom bayis, which means to try to supervise quarrels or problems that we have in marriages, exactly, but the same thing with children, so on and so forth. It's multifaceted, so to say. It's so many different details that, of course, we couldn't resolve everything, and we had to have people that were going to help along with us. The responsible basically was on these 3 Rabbanim. After we were chosen, of course, we were chosen by the community, officially, vote was official vote, and we became the Beis Din that the Rebbe confirmed in the Beis Din of Crown Heights. If there's any question, what it may be, they make decision, even though that it's possible, which is normal, that the community, fortunately, has many Rabbanim, many that have a smicha and have that capacity of judging certain halachas, al pi halacha. But it comes out that is the job of the Beis Din of any community or any Rav in the community, that no matter how many Rabbanim you have that may be qualified to be Rabbanim, but the one that is chosen, he makes a decision. Because otherwise, you will never get to any final decision. What is the way we have to conduct ourselves?
How has the vision of the Rebbe affected your life as a Rav?
That's getting personal at first. At least I did not realize what it's going to entail, because at that time, Rabbi Malo Oliver Shalom was the head Rav. He was dealt with it throughout the day. I was, so to say, only partial Rav. Basically, I was in the yeshiva, and I was teaching the seminar. So I didn't really have that yoke, so to say, from the entire community coming, because he was available, and he was the official Rav that would be sitting in the Beis Din hours upon hours, and I would just come in to help. So therefore, originally, it wasn't that strenuous, and the responsibility was not to that extent, because basically, Bala over Shalom took care of most of the difficult questions. Only when there happened to be a problem, a quarrel between two litigants that requires a bezdin fee, then I would, so to say, I will participate, and the same thing goes for Rabbi Hello, which was also, we are the three Rabbanim that have been chosen by the community, so that is the official bezdin. So whenever there was a situation of litigation, of course it requires three Rabbanim, and then we got together, or in case there was any more problematic issues to discuss, we come together. But basically, as I mentioned before, Rabbi Mali was the main rabbi, and other two were just to help along. As time went on, unfortunately, Rabbi Marlow left, to the next world. The burning get more complicated.
Rabbi Lustig and Rabbi Simpson have educated Chabad youth for decades. Are they shluchim?
How many years have you been working in Alter?
Okay, I came into Alter in Tovshin Lamed Vov, which in English is 1976. So if you calculate, it's the 44th year, actually 45th year. But for 40 years, a little bit longer, I was actually the Menahel, principal, the dean, different times. But now I'm dean emeritus, which means emeritus is like former. You know the word emeritus? It's former. So that means that I'm not really the menahel anymore. I serve in an advisory capacity and various duties and so on, but I'm not the menahel. The menahel I was for 40 some years. There was a transition.
What is it like to be the principal of Alter?
Okay, that's a question that can be answered in many ways. First of all, it's a tremendous zechus. It's a big zechus to be able to be the menahel of the Rebbe's yeshiva, of the Rebbe's kinderlach. The Rebbe used to call the children when they were at the Farbrengen, when they would be they would be at his feet under the table. He would call them his tzoin kadoshim, his holy sheep. So it's a tremendous zechus to be able to be the menahel of the Talmidim, and to work with to instill in them the values and the things that the Rebbe wants the Chassidish kinder to be. In other words, in another yeshiva, it's just learning, how to learn a piece of Gemara or Taisvis, but here it's not just that, it's also the values of Am Yisrael, of reaching out to other people, to share what we know with other Yidden, to bring Mashiach. There's much more to being a menahel of a Chassidish yeshiva, of the Rebbe's yeshiva.
What was the day-to-day challenge being the principal of Alter?
Well, there are a lot of challenges. Obviously, you're a kid, so the kids can make challenges. So there's challenges that the kids presented, challenges that the teachers present, challenges that the parents present, other staff that works in the building. But all in all, the challenges are only there for you to deal with them and to resolve them. Challenges are not obstacle blocks that don't let you go further. Challenges means it's not supposed to be. It's not meant to be easy. It's meant to be, you have to work, and if you work hard, you're matzliach be'ezras Hashem.
Do you stay in touch with your old students?
I do, but obviously not with all of them. With many of them I do, and it's really beautiful to see, to watch them grow up. It gives me lots of nachas when I see when they're older and what they're doing, and when they get married, or they're going on shlichus, or that it really makes me very proud and very happy.
What is the goal you want your Talmidim to achieve when they leave Alter?
Okay, so I want my Talmidim to be the Rebbe's Chassidim, to be devoted to do what the Rebbe would like, to be people that are ready to share all that they know with other Yidden, to be people that are ready to go out on shlichus if that is available, if that's a possibility, or to be mashpia on their whole surroundings. That's the goal. And to be Shemer Torah mitzvahs.
What is it like to be the principal of our yeshiva?
It's great. Great.
It's great to be the principal of the Lubavitcher Yeshiva. Obviously, it comes with a lot of responsibilities. It's an honor to be the principal of the yeshiva. It's also a big schos to be the principal of the Lubavitcher Yeshiva. The work is actually very enjoyable, sometimes difficult, sometimes disappointing, but in general, it's something that I love to do, and I've done it for many years, and hopefully, be'ezras Hashem, to be able to continue doing it for many, many years.
What is your goal you want your Talmudim to achieve by the time they leave Lubavitcher Yeshiva?
Okay, that's an excellent question. So when the boys leave the yeshiva, they graduate from the 8th grade. Usually, boys who graduate from the 8th grade are boys who became bar mitzvah. Became bar mitzvah in the 7th grade, some in the 8th grade. And we know that when a boy becomes bar mitzvah, the Rebbe sends each bar mitzvah bacher a letter. And in that letter, the Rebbe gives him a bracha to grow up to be a chayil, a chosid, a Yerei Shamayim, and a lamdan. So it is our objective, our goal, is to create a program here in the yeshiva, beginning from the real little kids, from kindergarten, all the way through Kita Ches. So that when a boy graduates Kita Ches, he's well on his way to becoming a chosid, a Yerei Shamayim, and a lamdan.
What is the day-to-day challenge being the principal of Lubavitcher Yeshiva?
So, day-to-day challenges generally is the challenge of making sure that all the moving parts in the school are working harmoniously together. There are so many parts. There is a principal of the older division, a principal of the younger division. There is the staff, the kitchen staff. There is the maintenance, there is the transportation. There are so many different moving parts in the school. And my challenge on a day-to-day basis is to see to it that everything works well, everyone collaborates with each other, and all the parts come together to give every student a very productive day.
Okay. Do you stay in touch with your old students?
I sure do, and I hope I will stay in touch with you boys too after you leave. Many times there are boys who go out of town after they finish the 8th grade, and when they come in for Yom Tov, we make it a point to meet, to get a little update on how things are going. Those boys who stay in town, every morning when I come to the yeshiva, I walk up and down Albany Avenue, I bump into many of them. We greet each other. Sometimes I'll stop and ask how things are going. It's a lifetime interaction, and we hope that it will continue for many, many years.
Fogelman, OK Kashrus. Is he and the members of the OK Kashrus team shluchim of the Rebbe or not?
What got you into working at OK?
Well, after I got married, I learned in Koilo for a few years, and then there was an opportunity I should come help my father-in-law, Rabbi Levi Olav Shalom, to help him with making the world a kosher place, and I took him up on the offer, and I've been here for the past close to 28 years.
Do you consider the mashgichim of the OK to be shluchim of the Rebbe?
So your question is, are the mashgichim that work in kashrus, are they shluchim of the Rebbe? So when Rabbi Levi Olav Shalom was contemplating if he should go work in the kashrus, he really wanted to go on shlichus, but his father wanted he should come help him here at the OK. And the Rebbe told him that kashrus is eichet ha-shlichus. So certainly the Rebbe felt that it was a shlichus as well. And I feel it's not the same kind of shlichus as the network of Chabad shluchim, but certainly it's part of making a dira b'tachtenim. It's part of avodas hakodesh and helping Yidden to be able to keep kosher and do mitzvahs. And it's certainly within the mandate of tut al tzvas kent that every single one of us should be able to do whatever we can to bring Mashiach.
We understand that you work as part of the Kashrus Committee. Are you occupied by anything else here at the OK, and do you have any other roles?
So at the OK, I'm part of the executive VAD. which means that we just need to make sure that we stay true to all the policies that Rabbi Levi has instituted here at OK Kosher. And as well, here at the OK, I give classes to different schools or people that come about kashrus. I do the public relations. I am the editor of the Kosher Spirit magazine. And I'm here to support all the mashgichim and all the different people that work here in any way that I possibly can. And a chassid needs to do whatever he needs to do.
How do you feel knowing that you are part of the most reliable kashrus company?
Like I said before, it's a great, great responsibility, and it's a zchus that we have the opportunity, that I have the opportunity to provide kosher food for the entire world. And in Mirz Hashem, we are doing our part in making the world a kosher place the best that we can. Our goal is not to be the biggest kashrus agency. Our goal is to be the best kashrus agency that we can possibly be.
All over Crown Heights, there are eateries, restaurants, and stores that provide kosher food for thousands of families and guests who nourishes their bodies. Why do we eat? Do we eat to live, or live to eat? The shliach lives to fulfill his or her shlichus, to be a lamplighter wherever he or she is found. Are those who supply the food that nourishes the body so that they can carry on the holy task of a shliach, are they too shluchim?
And what of those who nourish the spirit? Those who sell Judaica throughout our community, and those who supply the shluchim, people like Rabbi Shem Tov from the shluchim office. These are men and women who dedicate their lives to see that the shluchim and the shluchot of the Rebbe have what they need to light the lamps of the people in their communities. Are the people who support the shluchim also shluchim?
Hi, my name is Mendy Shemtov. I grew up in Crown Heights. I work in the shluchim office, and I consider myself a shliach. My father was in the Sefer Shluchim. The shluchim office is here to help every shliach in both his personal life, for him and his family and his children, and to fulfill his shluchus in his place.
How did the shluchim office start?
The Rebbe established a shluchim office at Shabbos Kinnis Shluchim, Shabbos Chai Sada Tavshin Zayin. The Rebbe asked for a central location, a Malkid Markazi, that should be a place of advice and assistance to shluchim. And the Rebbe gave an example, a Tzushtel Naredner, if you need a speaker, and the Rebbe added in handwriting, and the Rebbe edited the Sikha, and the Rebbe wrote V'chul V'chul and underlined it, meaning every aspect of the shluchas.
What are the major things that your shluchim office does to help shluchim?
Well, one of the big things we do is the Nikri International online school, which provides full-time chinuch for children of shluchim that are in a place that don't have a Jewish day school, a cheder, and it gives them a full chinuch. Many children graduate from 8th grade and 9th grade. All their chinuch comes, obviously, in addition to their parents, their school chinuch comes from the online school. And that's one aspect of, it's one big thing Shulchan Aruch does. And then throughout the year, we make for them, there's a winter camp for them. In the winter, there's a kinnis ha-shluchim and kinnis ha-shluchis, so they don't only, the shluchim that don't see other shluchims, either online school kids, the children that are in the online school, or other shluchim, they could get together in one place for a few days by the kinnos, 10 days by the winter camp, and they could see each other and make friends, etc. That's regarding shluchim's children. Shluchim themselves, like the Rebbe said, for example, Tzushtel Naredner, that they provide. We have the shluchas market that has a bunch of Judaica items that help shluchim. There's flyers that shluchim don't have to go to a designer and everyone pay and figure out what they want to write on their flyer. They have one flyer that every shliach can customize, so it streamlines a lot of basic things that take up time and money from shluchim and helps them. There's a shluchim gmach, which gives free loans to shluchim for chasanis and bar mitzvahs. We have the Tamaru Jewish Insights series, which is a weekly share every week that on the Rebbe's Sichos, that you can learn the Rebbe's Sicha with your community. It provides translation with a fully built share with Mekayris, etc. that shluchim could easily prepare with in an hour and a half. Could prepare a Sicha to given every single week to get marketing materials. There's handbooks, PowerPoints, everything given to shluchim free of charge. and in many other aspects of a shliach. A shliach can find assistance and help, like the Rebbe asked when the Rebbe established the shlichum office.
What's the difference between being a shliach here in Crown Heights against being a shliach all around the world? What's the difference like?
The Rebbe said a maimer, Basel Yani, Tashin Yalaf, famous maimer, and the Rebbe said that everyone in this generation has to fulfill the mission of Deir Hashvi, whether you like it or not, whether you chose it or not. You have to fulfill the mission of Deir Hashvi to bring Mashiach. And the Rebbe, and that is the inyan of shlichus, to fulfill this mission of Deir Hashvi. The Rebbe said that every single yid in this generation is a shliach of the Rebbe. Everyone, whether on shlichus as your full-time job, or you live in Crown Heights, or you live in any other place, your shlichus is to fulfill this mission of the generation. Now, obviously, the ultimate is to dedicate your entire life, your professional life, your job, the place where you live, everything, towards that shlichus. But shlichus is not either you're 100% or nothing. Everyone is a shliach, whether you like it. Like the Rebbe said, everyone's a shliach, whether you like it or not. This is what the Rebbe said. Because shlichus is not a job, it's a mission. And everyone has this mission. And therefore, if, for example, you live in Crown Heights, what does it mean to fulfill your shlichus? Well, in the time of your job, you should try to influence other Yidden, bring them closer to Yiddishkeit. Whether you're in school, you have to don't only look out for yourself, look out for a friend, be nice to them, be mekar of them. After school's over, after your job is over, try to go on Mitzrayim. Try to look out besides for yourself, to look out for someone else. That's what it means to be a shliach. And if whether you're dedicated in your entire life to shlichus, or you dedicate a large portion of your life, everyone is a shliach, and you have to maximize this mission that Rebbe gave you as most as possible.
What do you think the major job of being a shliach is?
The major job of a shliach is hafatzas minyanas chutzah, and to bring Mashiach. And the Rebbe laid out throughout the years of the Rebbe's Nesias, in the Sichos, in the letters, in the Rishimis, in the Memorim, how you fulfill the shlichus, what you need to do. The Rebbe made there's the Tem of Tzayim, there's many more initiatives the Rebbe made, and we have to reach out to every single Yid, and not only Yid, then we have to reach out to Goyim. And through perfecting the world side, being Kar Yid Yiddishkeit side, making sure all Goyim Mekayim Shem Mitzvah, this is going to bring us closer to the coming of Mashiach.
Using the innovative tools of mass media to bring the Rebbe's message to all corners of the earth, GEM, Jewish Educational Media, has been doing just that. Certainly, the men and women of GEM are living as shluchim. No?
GEM started in Tafshin Mem 1980 for the purpose of broadcasting the Rebbe's Farbrengens live via satellite around the world. At the time, it was like a major innovation that somebody could be seen live for a long time around the world. So there was a younger man, or at the time a bacher, named David Krinsky, and after he had a little short yechidus with the Rebbe, where the Rebbe told him to get, in general terms, to get involved in these issues, he came up with the idea of broadcasting the Rebbe's Farbrengens on satellite, and from there, GEM became. I've been involved in GEM since shortly after Gimel Tammuz. Gimel Tammuz was 27 years ago, and it was at that time that GEM consisted of boxes of videos in Rabbi David Krinsky's basement. And I got involved then and did the first production with his permission and blessing, and from there, Baruch Hashem, things have really grown. GEM's original collection was the recordings of these broadcasts of the Rebbe's Farbrengens around the world. As well, GEM did its own videotaping, high-quality, professional recording of the Rebbe at different tefillos or different events. So GEM's core collection is the recordings of the broadcasts that were done on cable television around the world, and its own professional video recordings that were done especially in Tafshin Mem and Mem Aleph, and then through the years here and there, a whole bunch of videos that were shot in Tafshin Nun Aleph and Nun Beis. That was GEM's own materials that GEM recorded. Subsequent to that, in the last 20 years or so, a whole bunch of other collections were gathered and acquired by GEM. There's WLCC, of course, which is all the Sunday dollars and lots of other footage of the Rebbe, as well as photos that were shot by Rabbi Chaim Baruch Halberstam. There's the Freden collection. There's all these different collections that we worked on gathering together in order that they be in one central world-class place that people can access and find and search, and that they're well preserved and they're secure, and people are really able to be inspired and to use it in all, as needed. JEM's job as a whole is to allow the Rebbe to speak directly to people and for us to get in the middle of that as little as possible. So in the same way, I think my job is to make sure that everyone else is able to do their jobs well. And of course, to start new projects, to make sure that everybody is inspired, that the people who work here, the tremendous people that work here, are happy and they're able to do their shlichus. The ultimate goal that we've set is to make sure that Mashiach comes, and Mashiach is here. By sharing the Rebbe and sharing the Rebbe's teachings and sharing the videos and the pictures and the recordings of the Rebbe with the world, and the more that happens, the more the world is going to be Mala Aretz Deis Hashem, and that in turn will bring Mashiach. The question is how many shluchim receive the videos every week. There are people who see videos of the Rebbe, whether it's unedited Farbrengens or raw footage or living Torah, or people who come across the material on YouTube. Millions of people a year. I think this past year our number was about 2.5 or 3 million people watch videos of the Rebbe. I think it's safe to say that a very, very, very large majority of the shluchim are seeing videos of the Rebbe every week. But if you think about it, in all of Klal Yisrael, there's many, many hundreds of thousands of people who get to see the Rebbe and to learn from the Rebbe and hear the Rebbe every single week. How long does it take to make a single weekly video? Often it can take several months, over a period of several months. There's probably, I think it's safe to say, about 10 people who are actively working on it, from a person who's researching, to a person who does an interview, to the person who's editing. If you start adding in all the different people translating into the different languages, and then the technology people and the video editors, actually goes way up over 10 people. But there's really a very serious team of very committed Hasidim who work on this material every single week, and it's actually in their schus, and we all owe them a very big thank you for their dedication to making sure that the Rebbe comes to us in a way that we're able to understand and that we're able to appreciate. And that we can both see the Rebbe in full unedited form, as well as, in a little bit, I guess the way you'd say it in Olam Hazeh is packaged, but also in a way where we're given some context as well. So it's a big thank you to these Chassidim that work so hard on this every single week. And it's thanks to them, and they have the schus, and I guess we all share in the schus because we're all watching these videos. That we're able to connect with the Rebbe in this very meaningful way, which is through Re'iyah and Shmiya.
Using and further developing our God-given talents is what is expected of each and every one of us. Some of us are gifted as speakers, some as writers, some are gifted with their hands, some with their heads. Business people too have a gift. Each has been empowered by God with a certain shlichus to fulfill during our stay here. The Rebbe specifically expects us to use our talents to the utmost, revealing that quintessential spark, and through revealing that spark in ourselves, to kindle a spark in those who we come in contact with.
Avram Fried uses his gift of song to inspire, uplift, and drive home the Rebbe's message.
How many years have you been in Crown Heights for?
That's like asking me how old I am. I was born in Crown Heights.
Who are the famous singers when you were a child?
There was Benzin Schenker, I don't think you guys even know these names.
No.
There was Reb David Werdiger, Olav Shalom. There was Shlomo Karlbach, Olav Shalom. There was Yom Tov Erlich, who wrote beautiful Yiddish songs, Olav Shalom. And some chazanim that I enjoyed listening to.
How did you start your music career?
How did I start? So, first of all, when I was a little boy, my family, my parents, Aleim Hashem, we lived on President Street. In 1418, the Rebbe's mother, Rebbe Chana, lived. And I'm told, I was 5 years old at the time, that I was taken sometimes by my mother, Aleim Hashem would take me to her house. And she would say, Avremele, sing something. And as a little boy, I sang for Rebbe Chana, Rebbe's mother. Okay. And a few years after that, I joined the choir in my yeshiva with Eli Lipsker. put together a boys' choir. He also did some recordings. I was on his records, did some solos. We did some concerts at the time. A few Chabad houses took us out for concerts. I did some solos in front of live audiences. That was till the age of 13. At the age of 13, my voice changed, and I figured, okay, that's it, it's over. It's a nice few years, and that's it. After 13, till about the age of 20, I totally forgot about singing, was not looking into singing, was not even dreaming about it. But then, they actually gave me a machshava to go back into singing, and here we are. That's why you're coming to me out to interview me, because I made that decision to go into singing.
Does music help you deliver a message to Chabad?
Not just to Chabad. Music is a message, a global message, a message to the entire world. And surely as a chassid of the Rebbe, who encouraged us to use every talent that you have, to be mechazek yidden, and to be me'oder yidden, and to be mesameach yidden. So for sure, that's the goal. To bring the message of Chassidus and the light of Chassidus and the light of Torah to Klal Yisrael.
What does singing have to do with shlichus from the Rebbe, and you with shliach from the Rebbe? What do you consider yourself a shliach from the Rebbe?
I would like to think so. I would be honored to think so. That singing is a way of. You have sfarim that are printed. You have booklets. You have. Every week, all these papers come out with things you can read in shul. The whole bim is stacked with stuff. That's one way. That's the spoken, the typed, the written word, the printed word. Then you have classes. You can give a drosha, a speech, and spread chassidus. I would surely think that through singing you can spread chassidus. Negina is a very important part of chassidus, and negina has the power to be mesameach. You know the chiluk of a speech and a song? To a speech you can't dance. Only a nigun can get you off the ground. So a nigun is the best, especially today. You guys know that music is very important today. The young generation needs to hear music, a good message. And Baruch Hashem, we have a lot of good messages to talk about. So we have clearly your shlichus to sing about emunah, simcha, betochen, Mashiach, mitzvahs, Shabbos. We have so much that we could sing about. And I think today the singing and then the songs are a very special means of being mekadev yidden and mechazek yidden and bringing simcha to Klal Yisrael.
What's it like a member of a famous singing family?
It's very humbling. Hashem gives you a certain gift, a certain talent, and I can't take any credit for it. I can develop it. I can go for voice lessons, to make my voice better and things like that. But the gift is a gift from Hashem, and if we use it in the right way, it's very humbling to get comments from people who say, your song the other day, I was in a bad mood and it gave me simcha, it gave me betochen, it gave me energy to get, to go on with my day. Or you have people say to you, your music changed my life. I became a Baal Tshuva from hearing your music. That's not to be taken lightly. It's quite amazing, the koyach that a song can have. So it's very humbling. On the other hand, it obligates you to use it and don't waste any time. Do it chabarayin as much as you can do, because that's important.
What inspires you to write your songs?
What inspires?
Yeah.
It's a good question. Sometimes inspiration just comes unexpectedly. You can be walking in the street and you hear someone say something, or you see something on a sign. Not many years ago, I was walking in the street and I had this idea I saw a little thing, keep climbing, and I said, hey, that's a good title for a song. And then I wrote the song, Keep Climbing. And so you never know where the inspiration can come from. Sometimes it just pops into your head, sometimes you just have to work at it. Like, you have a pasuk, and trying to get a good song to go with it and fit it in exactly. And sometimes it goes, sometimes it doesn't go. So it's like a puzzle. Got to get all the pieces together till you got the big hit. Yeah, first of all, I'm proud to tell you guys that when I was a bacher in Tafshin Mem Ches Simchas Torah, I started singing in Tafshin Mem Aleph. So Tafshin Mem Ches, I went by for Koshel Bracha by the Rebbe. There was Matzah Simchas Torah. I got my little, l'chaim, like, ready to move on. Suddenly I see from the corner of my eye, something's going on. I turn back and I see the Rebbe's holding a bottle of mashke, waiting for me to take it. I looked at the Rebbe for a second with my eyes, and like, Rebbe, sure this is for me? There's no mistake here. And he gave me the bottle. It was for me, no mistakes. So that's when I realized that, you know what? The Rebbe gave me his bracha that because he gave bottles to shluchim, not just anybody who went by. So to me, that was the Rebbe's telling me that, he said, this is your shlichus. So many, many years later, I went by the Rebbe for dollars, by dollars, and told the Rebbe that there was I had a performance that night, and the Rebbe gave me $1 and said, this is for tzedakah before you sing. Then he gave me another $1 and he said, this is for tzedakah after you sing. Als a Dank zum Rebbeinu Shalom, as es given b'hatzlacha. As a thank you to Hashem that it was b'hatzlacha. So after that I figured, you know what? Why just do it quietly in my home, give tzedakah before and after? I'll do it, let's make it public. Let's make it public. So from then on, I traveled with a pushkin. And wherever I go, I give tzedakah before and after. It's already more than 30 years. And the last several years, I tell the audiences, this is what the Rebbe told me to do. You do the same. And I get many comments that people tell me they do this at home with their kids in the morning, and then before going to bed. They do it in their office. They ask Hashem for Atzlacha D'Kedei, then they get stuck at the end of the day to say thank you. And the Rebbe's Chiddush was, today it's very popular, thank you Hashem. Very popular. But the Rebbe's Chiddush was, say thank you with a mitzvah. To say thank you, it's very easy. But to say thank you while doing a mitzvah, that shows that it's a ma'aseh together with the machshava. It's very special. So that's the hira that I got from the Rebbe, that lives with me. I live with it, like I said, over more than 30 years. Always remember to give tzedakah before and after. So one of the Rebbe's beautiful hiras to me. Remember to say thank you while giving tzedakah.
is vayirash as kol hores in the ganze Welt vergos, da farwas wie bald da is gegangen vayikra schon beshem Hashem Leilo. Zochtag de Gemara al tikre vayikra ela vayakri. Avrom hat sich nicht bagnugen damit, was hat gewusst für sich als Hashem Leilo. Na wenn gegangen vayakri und hat gesehen, jener soll ich schreiben als Hashem Leilo, Ich beschaß me geht a reis in Welt mit dem Keich und mit dem Messias Nefesh, is demot hat me nicht was nicht Paul zu werden, was hat hamat mikol ha'amim, und beschaß me geht mit Messias Nefesh bepeil, is demot die alle Keiches nerlomim, keizach a reis ligilui, ich beschaß me nehmt a reis ligilui, de Keiches nerlomim, is demot hat bekeach, ein Atom, a kamus ktamer bejesev, überkehren eine ganze Stadt und einnehmen eine ganze Welt. So da sehen, was fragen die Kasha, als Ayom im Horishen im Hoi Tevim Elo. Sagt auf der Ruf ein Keheles, als Leime Chochma Shalta sei, wie bald als uns hat herangegeben in dem Zman, ist Choshach viele, dass Cheshach Kofel Chupel, und man weiß, die Megen im Ami du Masse, in welchem gefindt sich. Zet men sich nicht lichiere, kein Meitzu und Move, was ihm soll die Welt mehapech sein, mit Miriru und Misko, und Machashechel in Heere, Eibobbe me verlossach auf der Chochme Holiene, was das hat gestellt, wie die Welt soll gehen, und welcher soll ankommen in welchem Dorf, wie die Gmorre sagt, im Erde steht, dass hat bewiesen, der Odemarischen hat bewiesen in jeder Dorf, was für ein Menschen zu sein in dem Dorf. Und der Dorf ist zugepasst mit die Menschen, ist sicher, hat ihm gegeben, Keach, hat nicht guckendig, was ist denn geworden, eine schwere Arbeit, mit dem Keach, mit dem Siles Nefesh, was sie dort darf in die Quaim und die Anoshim Pschutim, Sie haben bekeach, als Chotscha viele der Cheshach geworden größer. und der Kirche ist Gruyim sein geworden kleiner, mit aber dem Kehr von Messias Nefesh, dort geht mir sich heraus von allerlei Hakbolis, ich sehe bei vielen Echad Hoyen, wir rechnen am 91er, auf eine ganze Kihile, auf eine ganze Ede, auf eine ganze Zwiebel. Und wie noch mit selbst gar nicht, wie kommen sie machen, nennt zu Tero Mitwes. Und wie kommen sie überkehren, als sie sollen werden, als noch in Jereim und Schleimi. Und bei Meshach als Mann sollen sie werden Chassidim. Wie bald aber, hat der Rebestor hat ihnen geholfen, als sich umgehoben wird, bei Fossi das Taten. Und hat gehabt als Fuß, als sich, wenn sie sehen sich mit dem Leben, was das in Nossi hat, der hat bis am Mashiach. Was das ist schwer. Und hat gehört von ihm ein paar Wörter, mehr wie ein paar Wörter. Was hat die Wörter, dachten sein Volk bis ich reine. Ich ziehe gedenkt sie ja, ziehe gedenkt sie nicht, aber der Nefesh Elikis gedenkt sie sicher. Hat ihm sicher gegeben geworden Keches, also hat die Zwiebel. Und hat die Kehille, wo gefühlt sich, liegt das auf seiner Achreis. Und soll sich nicht mischtapig sein damit, was sich aufhalten, also sollen Chasveshol nicht werden ärger. Soll sich nicht mischtapig sein damit, was sich zubringen zu dem Maimid und Matze, also sollen hieten, dass die alle Unionen, was steht in Schulchen Oroch. Soll sich nicht mischtapig sein, auf viele damit, was sich zubringen zu Maimid und Matze, was sollen halten, batonlich, Nimischure Zadin. Nur darf wissen, von dem Monden, wie bald das Monden mit alle gewinnt, die mehr Chassidus. Und der Moesche Chassidus ist, dass die ganze Kehille, wo gefindt sich, darf sich zubringen, nicht nur zu Terische Balpe, wie steht in Schulchen Oroch, nicht nur Lifnimishure Sadin, nicht nur zu die Unionen, was einen Atzmi moven, nur wenn dann zu dem Chassidus, zu Moesche Chassidus, und wie bald am Monden das von ihm, hat man ihm sicher gegeben, Kirchisch auf der Ruf, nur bei dem im Monden das von ihm, hat Gott schon viel in Tam wie das, in Sefel, hat Kindot nicht und setzt nicht in Messer, wie wird das durchführen bei Peel, darf aber wissen, sein Astere Mond am Soltate gehen, bei Tam wie das, und soll jeder sagt, dann bei Haskell. Der Haskell darf aber sein, von Meida Ani, mit Ayin, was hat die Leiade, ich soll nicht negeren, mein Tam wird das, ich darf das nicht finden, ich soll durchbeschaffen, hebt dann, und das ist der Haschole Travede, wird dann noch gefunden in die Wege, in einer Wede von Jade, von Tam wird das, was ich zu Reis finden, mit ein ganzer Kehille, mit Liat, und Beseder, Afreie machen von sie Jereim, dann noch machen von sie Schleimim, und dann noch machen von sie Chsidim.